for this week, the record I'm going to be talking about is such an iconic record, especially for me. I mean, this record holds a special place in my heart and everywhere else. The record I'm talking about is Dead or Alive, You Spin Me Round. Now, this came from Dead or Alive's second album, Youthquake, which was released in 1985. And it was released as a single in November 1984 on Epic Records. It did reach number one in the UK singles chart, but reading about this, it took 17 weeks to get there. The first time I heard it, it was at number one, so I don't know where it'd been for 17 weeks, but that's a long time to get to number one. It was the first UK number one by Stockade and Waterman. This is produced by them, so this was their first kind of UK number one. Now, I've been reading kind of his autobiography lately, and it talks about where he got his ideas for this record. And it was a combination of two tracks. I did have a listen to them separately, and I know you can hear where he got the inspiration from. One of the tracks was Luther Vandross, I Wanted Your Love. Go and check it out. You know exactly what bits he's kind of been influenced by. Another one was a track by someone called Little Nell. I've never heard before, but it was called See You Round Like a Record. Again, you can see where he's taken inspiration from. So that's quite unique, a little background on this record. The record we've been talking about is obviously been around, but it's the 40th anniversary of this record. I'm also going to talk about why this holds a special place with me as Punx Soundcheck as well. Now, there's been numerous remixes for this record. We've heard them all. There's some good ones, some bad ones. We did, my band was called Punx Soundcheck, and in 2003 we did the remix for this. I'm going to talk about that first, and we talk about the 40th anniversary. We did a remix for this, and it was the first time we ever did a remix for a major, so it was on Sony at the time. And I have the copy here. It came out on vinyl, came out on CD. It got to number 23 in the charts, which is great for us because of this remix and this record. We got to travel to America for the Larry T's Electroclash Festival because he was hammering it. We got loads of remixes coming in because of this record. And it was so good to kind of hear this out on the floors because it was quite different than a lot of the other mixes. A lot of the other mixes kind of very kind of housey, very kind of high energy, where this was kind of at the time we were like Electroclash, so it was all about them octave bass lines, and we did something a bit peculiar with the vocals as well, but also we became friends with Pete Burns and Steve, especially Steve Coy, and I remember working on this remix as well. Pete come around the studio and trying to tell us how to do the remix, and in the end we would do what he wanted. When he left, we went back to what we wanted to do, and just come around the house and listen to how we've got on with it. Steve Coy was always around, so it was a really good time for us. Especially hanging out with Pete and Steve at the time. It did come out in a 12-inch, like a DJ 12-inch, with DOA, Princess Julia, and Punx Soundcheck, so versus Princess Julia on one side. Another side, you've got the classic Metro mix as well. I think this is quite a rare 12-inch because it didn't actually officially get released on a worldwide release. This was just a promo from Sony for the remix. It did come out on the CD. It came out in two-part CD. We were on the second part. With the Metro mix, Punx Soundcheck mix, the original 7-inch mix, and this is the one that got to number 26. So you can see why this holds a special kind of place with me, and I just love listening to it. If you've not heard our mix, check it out. It's very, very different than what you'd expect from a Spin Me Round remix, and there's been loads over the years. One of my favourites is from Mark Moore, which is great, which is done at exactly the same time but came out in a separate 12. But here we are, the 40th anniversary of Spin Me Round. What they've done, they did release a picture of 7-inch a little while ago. Now this was announced, so this is the 40th, to celebrate the 40th anniversary. They've released it. Only 1,000 copies of these are around, by the way, so if there's still copies out there, get one, because these are going to become quite rare as well. And you've got the purple and pink. They call it a picture disc. It's not. It's just coloured vinyl. It's got 6 remixes on, kind of spanning the best. When I say the best, ours isn't on here, but the other good ones. You've got the Murder mix, which is the classic remix of Spin Me Round. When we used to play out, even before we did this remix, we used to play this mix out. Myself and Arif, who used to be in Punx Soundcheck as well. You've got the Metro extended mix. This is the version that was on our release, the Metro mix, and obviously the Punx Soundcheck mix. Great remix, and at the time, Kylie was really big with Can't Get You Out of My Head, and this is very reminiscent of that. If you know this mix, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've also got the Cleopatra remix, which I've never heard up until this point, and it was okay. And then you've got the classic performance mix on 2. So, and then the Marc Almond Mr. Motion mix, as I said, is one of my favourite mixes. And then you've got the original 7-inch. So it's kind of taken remixes right through the whole 40th anniversary of Spin Me Round. And it's such an iconic record, a lovely piece of vinyl on pink and purple. And I suppose they kind of took that from Sophisticated Boom Boom album sleeve. That's very kind of purples, and I think there's a few bits of pink in there as well. Not Sophisticated Boom, Youthquake with the purple coat. I keep getting the two mixed up. Sophisticated Boom Boom's on the front with the leopard stuff, the leotard. Spin Me Round came off the Youthquake album, so it's kind of reminiscent of the colours from that album. It's a great little record, and also I've got to say, one of the questions I always get asked with coloured vinyl, picture disc, what's the sound quality like? This is actually really quite good. I'm quite impressed with this. I played it on my studio system just to test it out, make sure the bass is there, frequencies. Really good pressing. And one thing I like about this, even though these remixes are taken from the 40-year period, there's no difference in the levels of the tracks, because sometimes when you find get like compilations where it's different mixes at different times, the levels are all over the place. It's not consistent, but this is. So if you are thinking about get it and add this to your collection. The record I'm talking about is the iconic Dead or Alive Spin Me Round Like a Record. You've got a nice kind of sticker here as well with all the information. It's got in here directed by Mike Stock and Matt Aiken and Pete Waterman production. Directed, strange. Brilliant. It's just great having this in my collection, and I just love love this record. As I said, it's a special record for me, a special track, special song, and a great time with the much missed Steve and Pete. I said we had a great time with them. So if you haven't got this in your collection, you need to add this in. Okay, don't worry about. There's so many mixes out there. I think this is going to be the finale. So get this record. Only 1,000 in production. So that's Dead or Alive. You Spin Me Round Like a Record. Iconic.